All right, so how did I go from 200 pounds on the left, looking inflamed, bloated, stressed, fatigued, to 170 pounds of lean muscle with a lot of mental clarity, more energy than I've ever had, and honestly, the best sleep that I could ask for? And the thing that you need to know about this process is, it doesn't matter how long you've been at the gym. It doesn't matter if you feel like you look good, because honestly, on the left, I thought I looked pretty good. When I sucked my stomach in and when I was lifting and had a pump, I actually did look pretty damn good. And I was probably the strongest I had been. But in reality, I did not feel good on the inside. As you can tell, my stomach is poking out over my waistline. I just look tired. I look stressed. My face shows it all. And, this was a 5-month process. This didn't take extremely long. Probably could have done it faster if I optimized some things and if I knew some things that I know now. But I'm going to share with you guys everything that I did and a little bit about my journey from going from 200 pounds to 170 pounds lean. And so, right here on the left, this was pretty much when I started to realize I need to go on a cut. Now, I wanted to bulk for the longest time. If you guys know anything about my story, I grew up extremely skinny. It was hard to put on weight. I was a hard gainer. And my goal from the beginning was just to get as big as possible. Now, I didn't really factor in the fact that my love handles would come in and I would feel tired and I would look inflamed all the time. But on the left, this was in November, and you can start to see the love handles coming in. Yes, my lats were pretty good. I look overall big, but the problem was when I took my shirt off, this is what you saw, and you can see it adding up down here. And so again, I was really strong. I felt good in the gym, but outside of that, I didn't feel as confident about myself because I knew that this was hiding under my shirt. Okay. On the right, this was the same month. This was in November when I went to Miami, and I was lifting hard, you guys. Like I'm telling you, I was squatting 4 plates. I was feeling extremely strong and I was going extremely hard, which was actually part of the problem, which we'll get into. But look at my stomach right here. Like, I don't care how strong you are. I don't care, what you're doing. But if you got something like this going on, it doesn't feel good. And every man will tell you that. Subconsciously, we know this is the reason why we don't walk around the way we want to. Okay. Now, like I said, I was pushing a lot of weight. I was keeping myself busy in the gym and I was going hard, but I wasn't doing things the right way. And I didn't know exactly what my goal was other than just to get huge. And I was chasing a number on the scale. I was chasing a number in the gym. I wanted to squat 405. I wanted to lift more weight than I ever had. And this is an example just to show you guys. And again, right here, I mean, dude, yeah, I guess I look decent. You can tell I'm inflamed, a lot of water weight. It just doesn't look good. And at the end of the day, you can't hide your gut when you're sitting down like this. And every man knows this is like the worst thing to feel when you're sitting down. And again, I'm in decent shape. Like I'm not saying I was, fucked, but I wasn't happy with where I was, even though some people may have thought I looked good. Deep down, I knew I had pushed the limit. I was chasing a number on a scale. And once I got to 200 right here, you can kind of tell it didn't feel as good as I thought it was going to, long story short. So the biggest thing that I learned, it wasn't about training or nutrition. It was simply just that discipline is having a system. It's not a personality trait. I think a lot of people on Instagram nowadays, they see the runners, the hybrid athletes, the bodybuilders, and they think that it's like something that they just have. But discipline is literally just knowing what to do, how to do it, and following through every single day. Because the truth is, a lot of us know what we're supposed to be doing, but it's hard to actually follow through every day because we just have an idea of what we want to do and we don't actually go after it every day. And so the real problem is that most high performing men, guys that are running businesses, professionals that are crushing it in their career, or entrepreneurs of some sort. The issue is they're successful everywhere besides their body. And I know this way too well. Literally, when I was making the most money in my life, I was a barber. I was cutting hair. I was making 18K a month standing behind the chair. But the cost of that was being in the worst shape of my life. So it's not really worth it. I think everyone needs to make money and every man should be building their financial success. But at the same time, at what cost are you willing to do that? And so most of the time, the gap is not information. I think that we live in a world where you have everything that you need at the tips of your fingers. You can literally get any information, any meal plan, any training split. You can get anything regarding your health or your wellness on your phone or on your computer. And so it's not that. And a lot of the times I think that actually distracts people, because for me, myself, I was saving every recipe on Instagram. I was watching the newest video about the science-based lift that gets you the most muscle without blasting your recovery. And it didn't get me the results I wanted because I was just distracted. And so at the end of the day, what it comes down to is literally just having structure in your day. So the 3 pillars that I followed were ownership, structure, and proof. Now, number 1 is very important, because if you don't get this, you don't get anything else. Your body is your responsibility. Nobody else is going to come lift the weights for you, and they can't, even if they wanted to. So as bad as I want you guys to change, at the end of the day, you are going to have to get up and move. So the moment that you take responsibility for your current situation, maybe you're underweight, maybe you're overweight, maybe you're just not where you want to be. And that's okay. But you do have to take responsibility before moving on. Because I think a lot of times we like to just bulldoze over that and get right into a system, right into a workout routine without actually taking responsibility for where we currently are. So you got to be able to sit there and say, look, I'm 30 pounds overweight. I know that. I take responsibility for eating the foods I ate, for drinking the things that I drank, and not prioritizing myself and my health. Once you do that, you can move on and you can say, look, this is a new day. This is a new me. We're going to change that. Number 2 is simply just structure. Like I was saying earlier, you have to have a system. You can't just be waking up and guessing what you're going to do next. Now, this is not to overcomplicate things, but simply have a routine. And I know life gets busy. Sometimes there's just that season where you feel like you're slammed every minute of the day. Maybe you're traveling for work, you're dealing with the kids at home, or work is just extremely stressful. You need to take ownership of your situation. Now, what that looks like is literally just hydrating with water, lime, and salt. If you have electrolytes, great. I get outside, I go on a quick walk, look in the sun, and just breathe some fresh air. Now, you don't have to, but I like to pray and journal. This honestly just sets me up for my day. It distracts me from being on my phone right off the wake up, and it honestly just feels really good. Gets you that mental clarity that you need for the day. Then I'm getting right into my protein target. Now, you don't need to crush your protein target and get 60 grams more than your necessary number, but what you do need to do is make sure you prioritize it and get as close as you can. This is going to keep you full. This is going to give you the nutrients that you need, and it's going to help you maintain muscle while you're losing some fat. And I'm getting into my workout, whether it's a home workout or going to the gym. I make sure I get my daily exercise. On a day off, I'm still getting my steps in and I'm still hydrating and eating properly. And this is the most crucial part, your sleep. You cannot negotiate with yourself when it comes to sleep. If you're not getting 8 hours of sleep, you shouldn't be worrying about anything else. You're not going to be able to do any of these things listed. And just stop relying on motivation. Structure makes consistency automatic. You're not guessing. You're not spending any time thinking about what you need to be doing. You just know exactly the things that push the needle the most, and you can just execute. I found myself overthinking every step of the way, thinking if I could eat this food, thinking if I should do this workout instead. And honestly, if I just stuck to a simple system, I would have made progress a lot faster. From 200 to 170, it took me 5 months, but you could do it probably in 3 months. Now, the third pillar is proof. If you're not building proof, you are not going to build confidence and you're going to fall off in a matter of time. Maybe 1 month, maybe 2 months, but if you don't stick to it long enough, you will not see the results that you want. So track everything. Take progress pictures, weigh yourself every single morning, track your workouts. You need to know if you're improving in the gym. You need to know if you need to back off, and you need to know where you need to make adjustments. Because again, the confidence that you need doesn't come from just positive thinking and journaling or affirmations. It's going to come from collecting evidence from your day-to-day habits. So show up, take the small wins because they add up quickly. What most men get wrong is they're wanting to learn the best workouts. That's not how this works. Like I said earlier, you need to find a simple system and stick to it long enough to see the results that you want. Going out on the weekend, having a couple of drinks, having a cheat meal or two is making you restart every single Monday. And days turn into weeks, and these weeks are turning into months. For some of you guys, these months may have turned into years. So you need a bulletproof system and training schedule that doesn't affect your weekend and allows you to still live the life that you want. I'm not saying you got to cut out your entire social life, but you need to fit it into your schedule, fit it into your day so that when things come up, you can still move forward and progress without pushing yourself back and restarting every single Monday. Now, this was my problem. I was bulking thinking that that was the goal, but little did I know it actually put me in a worse place than when I started. So instead of bulking and cutting forever, it's better that you just find a goal. Doesn't matter what it is. Maybe you want to be extremely jacked. Maybe you just want to look athletic and be willing and able. But whatever it is, you don't need to bulk and cut. Put on muscle, burn whatever body fat you have. You will look way better than bulking and cutting. Because honestly, those are just seasons and we want to be in shape forever, not just in a cutting season. Now, like I said earlier, you need systems, not motivation, because that is going to be the thing that gets you thrown off because you have one bad day, you're not motivated, you don't know why you're doing it, and you let that turn into weeks. And this is honestly the biggest one, is just changing everything all at once. You need to start with one habit, one thing in your life that you can adjust and start replacing that bad habit with a good habit. It's like the domino effect, at least it was for me. The moment I started eating whole foods, the moment I felt better, the moment I had more energy, the moment I was making healthier decisions. And that's when I started taking the gym more serious because I'm like, dude, if I'm eating healthy, if I'm doing all this at home, I might as well make the most of it and start hitting the gym just as hard. Stop trying to change everything at once. Find the most crucial thing in your life right now that you think is actually possible without throwing off your entire schedule, and attack that one thing first. I see people trying to handle their professional life, their business, their family, and their social life all at once and throw fitness into that. And it doesn't work well. You might be really disciplined for a couple of days, but then again, that one day comes where you can't handle it anymore because it's not sustainable and everything crashes. And so doing more isn't going to change your results, but doing the simple things that most people overlook every single day is what actually pushes the needle and what's actually going to get you the result that you want.